After bursting onto the college scene, winning the national championship as a freshman, and then emerging into a star in her sophomore and junior seasons, Flau'jae Johnson ended her final year at LSU in a bit of a senior slump. She regressed in certain areas like scoring efficiency, and most of her numbers were at or below her sophomore and junior seasons. This has put her under fire amongst critics and has led to her slipping on some of the major draft boards. So, is that fair or an overreaction? To answer this, we first need to look at what made her so special in her younger years. When Flau'jae first exploded onto the scene, she was primarily an off-ball player, playing what I call advantage basketball off of Angel Reese's gravity. And it was in these moments that you really saw her shine, as she wasn't asked to create from a standstill and could use her athleticism to her advantage in open space against weaker defenders. Her coming out game was against UCLA in the 2024 Sweet 16, where she was able to operate out in space against the Bruins' less athletic backcourt. And it was there that you saw her physical gifts really shine. You can see the long stride she has when playing in transition, and the Euro step gets her to the free throw line. Her stride length makes her so dangerous against less athletic defenders who either can't run or jump with her. Her explosiveness is the part of her game that I think makes her the best athlete in the class. She picks up her dribble from outside the free throw circle and is able to finish despite jumping from outside the restricted area. But notice how she picked up her dribble the second her drive was shut off. She has a habit of prematurely picking up the ball like this, which can lead her into trouble. Here she commits to drive near the three-point line, which leaves no outlet when she doesn't have a clear lane to shoot from, and the result is often terrible shots over the contest of multiple defenders. And while it's normal for explosive slashers to gather the ball this far out, it's often to the point of no return for Flau'jae. Here she misses the chance at a potential layup pass to charge into no man's land, and the result is an offensive foul. This is the byproduct of having bad tunnel vision while handling the ball. If we look at this play again, she misses a potential kick-out pass to Anissa Morrow, and you'll often see her leave her feet too, which provides no outlet to save herself. MK is wide open here. Her feel and decision making are probably her most concerning areas on offense right now. She does a good job finding the rolling Koval here, but on plays that require an audible problem solve where the solution isn't the first immediate read, she almost never makes the right one. I think this is part of the reason she struggled at times against strong opponents. If we look at her numbers against top 50 opponents over the last 2 years, she has major tail-offs in both 2-point scoring efficiency, and her turnover rate goes up. I think a lot of this is due to her inability to finish with a left hand and her weak handle. Flau'jae often turns the ball over a lot trying this right to left crossover, and this brings back a lot of her value as a transition player where she'd probably have a case to be the best in the class at that area of the game if the turnovers weren't such a problem. In the half court, she lacks the wiggle to get by WNBA level athletes. Joyce Edwards isn't moved in the slightest by this hezzy and completely walls off her drive. And I think that's part of the reason why Big Four hasn't even bothered to take many bigs off the dribble this season. But when she's operating out of a triple threat, Flau'jae is so dangerous because she can attack either outside foot without a live dribble and get downhill for free throws, or barbecue weaker defenders and use her explosiveness to get downhill. If we were to look at Flau'jae Johnson's profile, she's clearly more impactful in off-ball play types where she can maximize her shooting, straight line slashing, and transition speed to her ability. So why doesn't LSU play her this way? Well, in short, they kinda do, but they don't do her many favors at the same time. LSU has a lot of possessions where Flau'jae sits idly watching a pick and roll unfold with no secondary actions being ran. Just watch how many times LSU spams the same dribble handoff on this possession. This makes it easier for defenders to take away Flau'jae's available outlets when she's on the ball, and if the defenders don't respect your teammates, it makes driving into open space that much harder too. On this play, LSU has Flau'jae on the ball, but it's not the pick and roll or the ISO that gets her free from her defender, it's the dribble handoff that does. It's the off-ball elements in basketball that allow Big Four to use her athletic advantage, not the on-ball ones. She's an amazing rebounder as well, capable of grabbing contested boards over multiple players, and on possessions where she's idle, you'll see her come in from the corner and just head tap defenders like prime Randy Moss. She grabbed this rebound over both Angel and Kitley, which is insane when you really think about it, and her 6.5 career offensive rebound percentage puts her in rarefied air amongst guards. The biggest proxies for athleticism at the pro level has always been a combination of offensive rebound percentage and stock percentage, and Flau'jae checks all three boxes pretty comfortably. On defense is where her impact becomes a little more complex. When locked in, she has strong moments at the point of attack where it feels like she can guard literally anybody. When guarding crafty perimeter players, you'll often see her hop around, almost in a syncopated dance, mimicking the ball handler. You can see how she turns her hips almost in a running motion to stay on Caitlin's drive. This defensive slide with the hips almost turned towards the baseline has its advantages and prevents her from giving up straight line drives, but it also makes her susceptible to spin moves or shoulder bumps from stronger guards who can use her momentum against her. Flau'jae has a very wiry frame, so she'll need to put on a considerable amount of weight to be an elite POA defender at the next level, but it does allow for her to get skinny around ball screens, sneaking through gaps like a quarter in a slot. She slides around the ball screen using her off arm as momentum, but then is late recognizing this late switch and gives up a layup. She has a ton of moments like this where she struggles locating man and ball. She has downright lazy possessions on defense where she's not attached to her man and struggles recognizing threats right away. At the college level, she's been able to somewhat get by on sheer athleticism while disregarding bad defensive habits, but the game is harder at the next level, and these type of defensive mistakes aren't easily learned either. She has great reflexes to get deflections, and is also great at jumping passing lanes from the weak side, which is probably her best strength on defense, lurking like a free safety from the baseline where she can see the entire floor. And because of this, I actually think she has a good chance to have some good rim protection value as a guard, which would also show up in impact metrics. But because of her flaws, I'm unsure of how good of a team defender she'll be at the next level. All of her defensive strengths are also areas of weaknesses for her that, if they aren't able to be polished by a good team and coach, will end up hurting her team more than helping. I think the key to getting the most out of Flau'jae is playing her in her most effective play types while limiting creation reps. A development of a handle and better defensive habits would go a long way to making her a solid WNBA player, but her flaws are glaring and can compromise the ceiling of a competitive team if she doesn't get rid of those bad habits. She's still a superstar level athlete that, if things do click, she could be a very impactful role player in a way that very few players can boast. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it to the end, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I have videos planned for a lot of the major prospects in the 2026 WNBA draft, so stay on the lookout for those as well. I'll also be dropping my big board very soon on the Process Over Results podcast with my co-host Boong, and you can get a bigger deep dive into all of these players and some of our philosophies around team building. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.